Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Yeah, it's just a little concerning not being able to be the one to make the decision whether or not I can go home to quarantine or whether I need to be here to quarantine.
How does it make you feel for the people that are in there right now, locked up against their will, under threat of jail for 6 months if they leave?
It's disgusting. It's evil. We are at a time of the final battle between good versus evil.
What's going on here I do not think is legal.
I don't care what you think.
And I'll happily leave. I'm going to my car right now to leave.
Good. Because if you don't, the cops will be here in no time flat.
Oh, I bet they will.
And it appears, despite some fairly reasonable efforts to comply with these travel restrictions, some folks may be caught up in some arbitrary actions that engage their constitutional rights.
Keean Bexte for Rebel News, coming to you with a story that you're just not going to believe. I'm standing outside of a hotel near the Calgary airport where a woman is currently being held against her will after breaking apparently no rules at all. She landed in Calgary from the United States and Justin Trudeau's thugs appeared, picked her up and brought her here. She hasn't been able to speak face to face with her family since landing, and her family is horrified at what's going on. We're horrified on her behalf. She's spoken to me over the phone and she sent me a video from within her hotel room showing me that the hallway outside of her room is lined with plastic. What's going on here is insane, and there's seemingly no reason for what's going on. There's no explanation for what's going on. She can't get an explanation. We can't get an explanation, and we've retained lawyers for her. I'm going to go in there and speak to the people running this hotel to see exactly what Justin Trudeau has directed them to do, why they are doing it, because it's just not clear. Nikki Mathis is her name. She's currently in one of these rooms in the hotel right behind me. She's not allowed to leave. She says she was threatened with 6 months in jail if she did. We don't know what's going on. Justin Trudeau has not made the rules clear. We believe it has something to do with testing. She took a test while she was in the United States. It came back as negative. When she landed, border agents said that no, that test isn't valid, it didn't work, or something along those lines, even though she had the paperwork to document it, to back it up herself. You can see the piece of paper right here. You can see clear as day that she does not have the Wuhan coronavirus. She's not sick. She's not a threat. But when she landed, she was not only denied the rapid testing that is available to everyone who lands at the Calgary airport, she was picked up and brought here and locked in a hotel room where she can't leave under threat of actual arrest. We don't know what's going on. I'm going to go in there to try and figure it out.
Everything has to go.
Could you please explain to me how many Canadians you have detained in this hotel?
Please go away.
How many Canadians against their will are being held in this hotel?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you have to leave the property. Really and truly.
I will.
What kind of secret operation is going on here?
Is this your vehicle?
We know.
What kind of secret operation is going on here, and how many people do you have detained here in this building? Are they allowed to
If
leave?
this is your vehicle,
Are they allowed to leave? Can you tell me how many people are detained here?
I will not tell you anything.
You will not tell me how many people are detained here. Why is that? Why is this such a secret? And why are you guys actively doing the bidding of Justin Trudeau, someone who you know is not acting in the best interests of Canadians at all? No way whatsoever is this a reasonable thing to do, to hold people against their will in a hotel under the threat of arrest, of jail time for 6 months. What is going on here?
Okay, if you're not leaving, I'm calling the cops.
Please do.
And I will.
Because what's going on here I don't think is illegal. What's going on here I do not think is legal.
I don't care what you think.
And I'll happily leave. I'm going to my car right now to leave.
Good. Because if you don't, the cops will be here in no time flat.
Oh, I bet they will. Nikki Mathis, when she landed at the Calgary airport and went to go take the test that every Canadian who lands at the Calgary airport is allowed to take so they don't have to quarantine for 14 days at their home, she was denied that test. And she was put in a white van and brought to this hotel surrounded by a police escort, according to her husband. This is a massive problem. It is a massive violation of her charter rights, not just her mobility rights, which if you weren't aware of those, Every Canadian has a right to come into Canada, to stay in Canada, or to leave Canada. That is a fundamental charter right. And Justin Trudeau is violating this with his strange new restrictions that he seems to be putting in every week to distract from the fact that he's failing Canadians when it comes to vaccinations. You're not going to be thinking about vaccinations if your family members are locked up in his jail cells, will you? No, you won't. That's why we've put together a website, nocovidjails.com. There we are crowdfunding for a lawyer. We got a great lawyer on this file. His name is Chad Williamson, and I'm going to throw to him in a second. Chad Williamson is going to be on this file to get Nikki Mathis out of this COVID jail that Justin Trudeau has set up here in Calgary. Chad, can you explain to us what you think about this case from a legal perspective?
Keean, what we're finding is that there's really a mixed bag of information coming from various regulatory bodies, provincial, federal, and international, creating a high degree of confusion amongst travelers as to whether or not they're in compliance with the regulations in one jurisdiction or another. And it appears, despite some fairly reasonable efforts to comply with these travel restrictions, some folks may be caught up in some arbitrary actions that engage their constitutional rights. Now, as a lawyer, it's up to us to evaluate not only the facts and make a determination as to whether or not the rules have been followed, but to make sure that there hasn't been an infringement on people's constitutional rights, which we feel is obviously paramount. We continue to look into the situation. It's obviously fluid, and we're doing our best to serve the needs of our client.
Now, I couldn't believe it when I was here and as I was being kicked off the property, when I was just trying to ask some questions, Calgarians were gathering around this COVID hotel in pretty large numbers to stand in solidarity with Nikki, who's being unreasonably detained by Justin Trudeau's government. Here's what they had to say about why they showed up on a Friday afternoon to stand up for Nikki.
Just this act itself breaks like three or four of our charter rights, including being arrested without just cause, right? So like anything that requires us to be arrested for not breaking the law goes against our charter rights. So
awesome. Thanks for your time. Now, could you tell me yourself?
Sure. I saw the same video. I've been watching you for a long time, watching Kevin, and yeah, after I saw that interview, I phoned here and I said, I've got people coming in from out of town in a couple days and I would like to see about booking a room. And he says, we're closed. I says, oh really, you're closed? I says, well, what are you doing there then? And he says, taking reservations. And I said, how long have you been closed? Well, I think before he said, we've been closed since March. And I said, what are you doing there then, taking reservations? And I said, for when? And he says, March.
Do you think what's going on here is lawful?
No.
How does it make you feel for the people that are in there right now, locked up against their will, under threat of jail for 6 months if they leave?
It's disgusting. It's evil. We are at a time of the final battle between good versus evil.
Now, I just spoke with Nikki. She's actually in this hotel and she has a cell phone connection still. And she sent me this video from inside her Trudeau jail cell.
Yeah, it's just a little concerning not being able to be the one to make the decision whether or not I can go home to quarantine or whether I need to be here to quarantine. I told them at the airport last night that I had nobody living in my home that was over the age of 60, nobody that's autoimmune compromised. I have a room I can stay in with a bathroom beside it. I have a good setup and I have a good plan in place. I also suggested to them that they made it available to do the rapid test right then and there instead of having to sit here and wait for a test to come, because that's more time that you're just waiting and waiting. So it's just really, really irritating to have to sit here when I've already been away from my family for over a week, to have to wait even longer and not being able to be the one to choose to go on my own. So yeah, it feels a little bit like I'm locked up right now. And as much as I know that it's a nice hotel room, I'd rather have my own bedroom, that's for sure.
Now, this is just insane. If you told yourself a year ago that we would be in this position, that the government of Canada would be arbitrarily detaining Canadians who repatriate to distract from their failing vaccination program, Justin Trudeau should be ashamed of himself. And we are going to stand up for the people that he is unreasonably persecuting, especially the one in this hotel right now. If you know of other cases like this, please do let us know. You can reach out to me at keean.bexte@rebelnews.com. I want to hear from you if you have a similar case. But right now, if you don't and you want to help, please go to nocovidjails.com. There you can pitch in to help cover the massive legal fees that are going to be coming from the emergency work that our superstar lawyer, Chad Williamson, is going to be doing over the weekend to break Nikki Mathis out of this Trudeau jail cell. This is an important one, folks. This is crazy. I could not believe that I would be waking up this morning covering this story. This is unreasonable. This is wrong. This is un-Canadian. Please go to nocovidjails.com and check it out. For Rebel News in Calgary, Alberta, outside of one of Justin Trudeau's impromptu jail cells, I'm Keean Bexte. Like I said, please go to nocovidjails.com. There you can check out the work that we're doing on this file, and you can pitch in to help with the massive legal fees that are coming alongside the emergency work that our lawyer Chad Williamson is doing to get Nikki out of Justin Trudeau's grasp.